all of you, and he just told me something which I did not know about this mosque, and that is people from all, Muslims from all schools of thought can come and pray here. This mosque does not belong to any particular denomination. Everybody, Shia, Sunni, whatever they believe in, they can come and pray here. So anybody can come. So I'll just speak a little bit about mosque. Now, mosque is an English word. The Arabic word is masjid, and masjid means a place for self-prostration. Now, so mosque is basically a place that is designated for praying, for reading namaz. And the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, has said that a mosque is a house of God-fearing people. So basically, a mosque is meant to instill in the worshippers, the people who come here to perform namaz, to pray, devotion to God and piety. So prayer is the fundamental activity that happens, the main activity that happens in the mosque. Besides that, a worshipper, a Muslim, can come to the mosque and he can read the book of God, and he can listen to a sermon from the imam who will tell him about the commandments of God, or he can sit silently and contemplate and remember God. These are the certain things that a worshipper can do inside a mosque. But the main activity of a mosque is prayer, which Muhibullah Saab just showed to all of you. So prayer can be performed anywhere, but it can be performed in an organized manner in congregation within a mosque. So the leader stands in front, the imam stands in front, and all the worshippers arrange themselves in orderly rows behind the imam. So the number of worshippers can range from 10 to 10,000, but they all have to stand behind the imam. So this particular arrangement of the namaz teaches Muslims unity. You have to live in a united manner, in spite of the various differences that you might have. So this is the first lesson that you get. Now, as you must have noticed, yesterday I told you that we begin namaz by performing ablutions. That is, we wash our hands, our face, and our feet with water. So there is a washroom, you people must have noticed. There was a washroom located outside. That is meant for performance of ablutions. And when you're performing ablutions, you're basically supposed to remember that you have to cleanse your body, and that cleansing of the body is not enough. You have to lead a life of purity of feelings. So your inner self has to be pure. So whenever you're performing ablutions, you are reminded that you have to live a life of purity and piety. Now, when you begin namaz, you must have noticed Muhibullah Saab said Allahu Akbar several times. He said Allahu Akbar, if you people may have understood or caught the phrase. So Allahu Akbar is an Arabic phrase which means God is great. And this phrase is repeated several times during namaz. So this phrase has it implicit in it that God is great and I am not great. So this teaches you the value of modesty and humility. So you don't have to be modest and humble only with respect to God. You have to be modest and humble with respect to your fellow human beings as well. So that is one thing that you learn in namaz. Then the other thing is that when Muhibullah Saab stood, he was reading out certain verses from the Quran. He stood up and he said certain things in Arabic. So those were recitations from the Quran. Now that is the main part, the major part of namaz. You have to stand and you have to keep your hands like this and you have to recite verses from the Quran. So these verses basically are meant to spiritually awaken you so that you leave, these verses tell you that you have to leave a life of ignorance and adopt a life inspired by the moral values, higher moral values of Islam. So this is what you learn when you're reciting the verses from the Quran. After that, you must have seen that Muhibullah Saab did this. He prostrated and then he knelt down, he bowed. So those are symbols, that is a physical demonstration of submitting yourself before God. It is a submission to the will of God. So for example, many a times we face situations in life where we have to respond in a way that God wants us to respond. For example, somebody might make us angry and provoke us. So we should not fight and take revenge, or enter into conflict. We should be patient. That is what God wants us to do. So that is what means by submitting yourself to God. You have to do what God wants you to do. Then in the end, Muhibullah Saab turned to his left and he turned to his right and he said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This means, may the peace and blessings of God be upon you. So what the worshipper does in the end is that he turns to his left, to the people who are sitting on his left and the people who are sitting on his right, and he says to them that you all are safe from me. I have no feelings except feelings of peace from you. So your lives, your property, your honor are all safe from me. I am a peaceful individual of society. Now, in the end, I would just like to say that a true worshipper is one who learns all these things in the mosque, and these qualities are reflected in his actions in society. In society, he lives as a modest, humble, peaceful person. So if he does not exhibit these qualities in society, we can say that he is not a true worshipper. He's just coming and performing namaz, but he's not really learning from it. So Islam tells us that we have to follow Islam in society as well, not only come to the mosque and let it remain restricted to the mosque. Thank you.